Hi, this is Miranda from My Scrappy Life, and this is my next video for Beth at Rock Your Notebook. What I am going to do this time is that you guys have already seen this layout here in my notebook. I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to actually show you how to document and doodle on this one because I finished this particular a series of books, which is this series right here. I actually finished, you can't quite see it, but I finished the novel, which is The Assassin's Blade. And I'm going to doodle in this, and I'm going to show you. I'm using my close to my heart doodle pens. They've got, let's see here, fine tip, and then broad. So I'm going to use those. I'm going to doodle and I'm going to write in there and show you that. And then you will see my next layout, which is going to go right here, which is actually this photo. I'm going to actually cut this in half, and I'm going to kind of start it more on this side and then through here. So you'll see just a little bit of this. But I just wanted to be in real time to show you exactly what I'm going to do. So you're going to get two layouts from me through this one, but it shouldn't take me too long because, you know, I speed my stuff up quite a bit. And so I just wanted to bring you live for a little bit to show you what I'm going to do for my last guest designer for Rock Your Notebook. And now I will turn you on fast forward.
Okay, so here we go. After I just showed you what I was doing with the next two layouts here, you will get a twofer. So at the end of the video, you will have two pictures of what I did in this book and in my actual traveler's notebook. So what I decided to do is that I am going to rate all of my books as far as this one will take me when I finish them that I have on my shelf. I'm not going to do any of my audiobooks because I listen to too many audiobooks that I would have like 8 of these filled up and whatnot. So here I am. I'm putting in the information. It's got like the book title and the author and that kind of stuff. And so I got out the book and I wanted to doodle. And so I started to write down all of my information, like what I liked about it, characters, things like that. I just kind of added everything in there. When I started it, right here, I'm looking on Goodreads because I use Goodreads for my start date and end dates, and then it has that on there. So that's what I'm writing in right here. And like I said, all of my pictures are actually all of my markers I will list down below. I'm just going to give you the list of where it was at. And then I had to get out the book to make sure I spelled it correctly, a couple of the characters, because she does spell it just a tad bit different than what I would do. So here I am. I'm marking in my stars, 3 of them with the blue, and then 2 of them half, because I wanted to give it a 3.5 star. But I wanted to put some color in all of the stars. So I just did that. And I'm kind of going through it, and I was just trying to find some little bit of a doodle. So the gold piece that you see on her cloak is what I'm doodling right here. So I just wanted to kind of show this a little bit on camera of what I did of the doodle. And then you will see what I did at the end. I'll show you a little bit of it. This took me a little bit longer to doodle and to draw. I just drew the gold, like I said, I drew the gold pieces on there. And then I do her Assassin's Blade. And there it is. I get out my distress and I just distress the sides. And I just make it look a little bit of distressed. And it really turned out well. I highlighted everything and did everything to that. So here I am, I'm placing it in there, and I'm getting out my actual traveler's notebook. Sorry about my phone going off. So here I am, I cut the picture in half. Actually, I don't really cut it in half. I do a little small piece on one side and a bigger piece on the other. I couldn't even tell you. I think it's probably like 1.5 inches. And I give it a good enough gap. between the page too. So when you flip it, nothing gets stuck or anything. That's the one thing that I have watched with other travelers' notebooks, that I'm going to make sure that I leave enough stuff in between it so that it doesn't stick. A lot of travelers' notebook that I see people close theirs, they don't leave enough, and I'm like, how are you closing it? So it's kind of my little thing. So I got out all of the wild girl collection, wild child collection, the girl side from American Crafts, and I'll link everything down below of all of the papers and everything that I used here. And I just placed a little bit on the bottom for contrast, and that's where I placed my journaling in for this picture. My husband and I ended up going to Barnes & Noble one day. We needed to look in for some of his books for school, and I wasn't going to turn down the fact that he wanted to go to Barnes & Noble. Of course I'm going to go. And I ended up being in the young adult fantasy section, and nobody was in the aisle, and I took the picture and turned it black and white, and it turned out fantastic for me. This picture just looks like it's just going right off to the next page, and it should be like I'm turning, and it turns out, in my world, exactly what I was envisioning. So I'm just flipping through the 6x6 paper pads. I have found that by doing Traveler's Notebook and doing the 3.5, I should say, pages that I've done, I'm really liking that I got a lot of 6x6 paper pads, because these are going to be perfect for the Traveler's Notebook. And here I am, I'm using Scraps Up again. Like I did for the cover page, I also did it for this page as well. And I really like that. I thought that was pretty cool. So I took this the little end piece where the circle is at, and I placed it on there, and then I go get some ribbon. It's kind of vintage in my world. I don't know if it's really that vintage, but it looks kind of vintage. And I leave it hanging off the edge. So now I've got a little bit hanging off the side of it, so that it gives a little bit more of that interest. And here I am, I'm just cutting up the papers and I'm getting my layering done. You know that I always layer, and I found that whether I'm in a smaller Traveler's Notebook size or the big one, I've got to do some layering. If I don't do layering, I feel like it's boring. The page is boring. And I'm looking for that thread. So I come out, and this is what I grab. It's white, and it's kind of vintagey looking to me anyway. And then I get it placed down. And I use my little glue dots, and I leave that little bit of the edge off to the side. So I get out this sticker, and this is going to be my title on it, and it's with the guitar. And let me grab my Traveler's Notebook. I can't quite remember what it's called. And then I placed down this tent. It looks almost like a blanket, but it's supposed to be a tent. And the title of it is We Are the Daydreamers and the Music Makers. And I just thought that because of it going into my book, and into my Traveler's Notebook as a book theme type, we are all our daydreamers and we are music makers. However you want to look at it, it is truly a book thing. And I really liked the Wild Child collection, because this collection is so me. Every piece of it just reminds me of the 70s and 80s when I grew up. So I loved it. 70s rolled into the 80s, and I was an 80s, 90s baby, and it was amazing. I loved it. during that era time. And here I am placing everything down, and that little title says Daydreamer there. And I just get out the puppy stickers, and yes, I totally used a disco ball in that corner. It has absolutely nothing to do with this layout, but I thought the disco ball worked perfect. And I state magical, and I place a little flower on that side there just to add a little bit more. And as I'm wrapping it up here, please go check out Beth's Etsy shop. I will link everything down below. I want to give her a big shout out for allowing me to have this channel and this challenge, I should say, and to be able to do the 2 guest design work for her. This was truly a challenge, but it ended up being one of my favorite challenges for a guest design work, and absolutely loved what I've done. So if you like to see more Traveler's Notebooks from me, please leave me a comment down below. Also, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 before November, so we can also have another giveaway. And let's see here, where am I at? Okay, so I get out the rub-ons and I start to just place hearts and that kind of stuff all over on it. And I also get out the Shimmers products, as you see this, and I want to just make sure I mention it. It was the Vibes, the Jenny Blue. And I'm just getting it all ready to go, and I'm looking at it to make sure that everything looks good. And I thought I was going to place that unicorn, and then I decided not to. I will find a place to put that unicorn. I put the date stamp down in the 3 little things down there. You'll see me place my journaling and do my splatters, and that will wrap this up. The close-ups are at the end here, and I really hope you enjoyed my Traveler's Notebook inserts that I have done today for the layouts, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!